Welcome back to the channel. Listen, they're all jumping in, trying to figure out how to make people more value off of XRP. I know how it sounds, but this is what they've been doing. So you heard, who was it? It was SBI first. They said they wanted to find a way that their clients could make more value off of XRP. That was one. Then Uphold says something similar. That was maybe last year. Both of those happened, I believe, last year. Then there was someone recently talking about the yields when it comes to XRP. I can't remember the company's name. Now you have this. So all of that to lead up to this article. We're getting good news after good news after good news. This is exciting times. And here we go. Here's this connection again. I'm telling you, they're coming together like Voltron, like some sort of mega structure, right? Cardano is stepping in. Charles Hoskinson. Funny how times change, isn't it? Now, this article is titled, Cardano Founder Seeks to Provide, quote, much better yields for XRP holders. So, now is another thing. Who was it that was talking about Flare? Was it Uphold representative? It was like in the last 3 days we read that article. I think it was a representative from Uphold talking about Flare and staking XRP. Now we have this. I guess they're doing something at Cardano. Let's read this little tidbit here and find out what's going on. You know, not financial advice, but this is going to be beneficial to anybody who wants to maximize the value of their XRP, earn a little yield. It says Cardano founder Charles Hoskinson has proposed an initiative that would enable XRP holders to earn significantly more better yields. Hit that like button. Boom, boom, boom. Hit that like button. Hoskinson made, you like how I slipped that? I just put that right in there, right? Hoskinson made the announcement during a recent live broadcast. This is in a tweet. The popular Cardano media outlet Angry Crypto Show, shout out to them, highlighted a segment of the broadcast in which Hoskinson suggested positioning Midnight as XRP's DeFi layer. All right. Don't suggest it. Do it. Just do it, sir. What do you wait? Let's not wait around any longer. Let's not waste life. We don't have time for that. Let's get this going. It says, notably, Hoskinson initiative. My apologies, folks. An ad popped up right here and it moved the entire article up right when I was reading. Unbelievable. Notably, Hoskinson's initiative envisions Midnight, Cardano's upcoming sidechain, as the decentralized finance DeFi hub of the XRP ecosystem. Whatever makes the XRPL better, right? Keeps the people happy, right? I want the people to win. Brings those companies in. You do know that they're going to be the primary ones using staking. They're going to go nuts with staking when it comes to XRP. The businesses need it. The small, medium-sized businesses for sure are going to need to feast because they need that much more capital to play with, to allocate, reallocate. By allocating this capital here, now if this goes successful and whatever they adopt loosens some more capital up, now they can reallocate capital somewhere else. They're growing. They're happy with the product, which means anything that's put out in the future on the XRPL, Hedera, Cardano, Solana, whatever Bankcoin, they'll utilize more of it. How does that affect everybody who's holders? That means the price can go up higher. Higher volume, more utility, more native crypto in flow or being held. Let's be realistic, people. A lot of people and companies are going to hold XRP a long time because the price can go up so much. And a lot of people are doing their calculations now. You see these professional companies coming out doing it. They know the price is going to an astronomical level. In my humble opinion, you don't have to agree. That's what I've gleaned from all my research. They're going to hold it as well. But even if they don't, just that constant flow of it being sort of trapped in the system, if it's constantly in flow going from this company to that company as a bridge currency or is being used as liquidity or it's getting burned, there's so much that's going to be happening that will affect that price majorly. Majorly. RWA, B2B, payroll. Come on, add it all up. Don't be lazy in this now. I mean, you do what you want to do. Add it all up, do your calculations, and then you let me know. I feel strongly you're going to be satisfied with what you see. The same thing we said about gold and a lot of other things over the years. And you see how that worked out. It says, Justin, this is the actual tweet. Justin, hashtag Cardano Ada founder Charles Hoskinson says, I'd love for Cardano and Midnight to be the DeFi layer of the XRP ecosystem so they can stay and continue to be XRP. But then Ripple and XRP holders can get much better yields right from the horse's mouth, right from the horse's mouth. And let me tell you something. The man is a brilliant individual. Let him do it. So actually, they elaborate a little bit further. Then we have more. We have breaking news, actually, in the second chapter. Boom, hit that like button. The next article is breaking news. All right, we got some good stuff going on today. Hoskinson first presented Midnight in 2022 as a privacy-focused sidechain for Cardano. 2 years later, in 2024, Cardano's research and development arm, IOG, launched the Midnight testnet. Thanks to Midnight's use of the extended UTXO model, developers can deploy private smart contracts without modifying Cardano's base layer. It says Midnight could also serve as a modular DeFi workspace for non-smart contract tokens like XRP. However, these tokens would need to bridge to the sidechain to leverage Midnight's DeFi capabilities. I don't care how it's done, as long as it's done well. Right. We're at that stage right now. Right now, some of these intricacies, we're removing ourselves from that and we're starting to take a big picture look because we're so close to the prices exploding. We have to keep envision everything. So some of these intricacies we're already familiar with. And so therefore, I think that's sufficient for now. Unless there's some significant change in the functioning of certain mechanisms that we didn't learn 3 years ago when we were extensively reading white papers and et cetera, and how the different chains function. Other than that, some significant change there, I don't think is advantageous to us to be overly semantical. That makes sense? So now let's move on here, right? We're getting a lot of positive motion. It's just from all points, from everywhere. So I'm feeling really good. So we have this here. It says we're getting an XRP ETF. I'm not sure if it's the one people want, but this is what it says. XRP ETF is set to launch June 18th, 2025 on the Toronto Stock Exchange, TSX. And they give you a little breakdown here. This is on Google. It says, what is it? It's a spot XRP ETF that will offer investors direct exposure to XRP. Who is launching it? Purpose Investments, a Canadian asset manager. Where will it trade? On the Toronto Stock Exchange, the TSX. When will it launch? On Wednesday, June 18th, 2025. Ticker symbol is XRPP. Available versions, CAD hedge XRPP, CAD non-hedge XRPP, .B, and US dollar XRPP.U units. Account eligibility: investors can hold the ETF in registered accounts like TFSAs and RRSPs in Canada. All right, so that at least still, this is very, very good momentum. We're winning in every possible way. The next wave is just deployment. We have a few more barriers to remove. All right, but just that much left, And then it's just a wave of deployment, partnerships, things like that. I predict over the next year or two, this should be a very fun time coming up. Not without its turbulence. There's going to be turbulence. No doubt about it. There's always that. But the news is going to start flying. We're already starting to see flashes of that. A lot of announcements coming out, a lot of playing with the bank coins directly. Pay attention to that directly. A lot of companies coming out saying we're going to hold XRP, or we have an XRP treasury, or they're doing something with XRP. We've never heard this much coming out, this much information like that coming out before, ever. So it's a sign of the times. Watch the signs. Heed the signs. It says this is significant because it is expected to be the first spot XRP ETF in North America. This is good steps. The approval for this ETF came from the Ontario Securities Commission, the OSC. While the launch of this ETF is a positive step for XRP in Canada, it's important to note that the approval of a spot XRP ETF in the United States by the SEC remains uncertain. It's coming. It's coming. Several US-based firms have filed for approval, and analysts speculate that approvals might happen later in 2025. You even see Solana creeping towards ETF. And so everything's going according to plan. We envisioned this coming. We're arriving at these moments. All right. So now let's move on here. We have some more XRP news. So now this article is titled XRP Ledger Expands Stablecoin Ecosystem as Ripple Drives Institutional Adoption with XRP. XRPL is surging as a global fintech powerhouse, attracting top stablecoins and unlocking XRP's role as a real-world liquidity engine. We were just talking about that. Folks, people are not understanding. They do not grasp, and that's a great advantage to those who know that anything that can provide liquidity, such as XRP, is going to be very, very much in demand. Everything everywhere needs liquidity, especially stable coins need liquidity. A lot of other things in the financial system, the legacy financial system definitely needs liquidity, which is why they will be issuing their own stable coins, although they know that it's highly unlikely they're going to be able to maintain those pegs, especially considering certain things that are coming. Did you see there was a financial system. I can't recall who. It was in the last 2 days. Those of you who read a lot of financial news, I know you saw this. They did something with their rates that was unbelievable. If that article was telling the truth. Folks, I don't know if there's going to be a trend of certain, I'll say this, pay very, very close attention to the interest rates over the next half of a year. Watch very, very closely, okay? And then if you start to see little strange things happening with that you're saying to yourself, that should not be happening. Why are they doing that? Start then watching what large investors are doing. Start watching closely. I'll leave it at that. If large investors start taking dramatic actions, expect in the next 2 to 3 weeks, because there's a little bit of lag there. But do your own research on that connection as well. A little bit of lag, but after they begin taking dramatic measures, then retail starts to take dramatic measures, regular people. And if that begins to happen, well, there's going to be contagion in the banking system. Just keep your eyes open is all I'm saying. Not financial advice. I'm just a humble researcher, but I'm just telling you, watch out for that. And if that begins to happen, then I'll also say this. If the banks begin to have problems, more problems in the next year or year and a half or so, gold will go absolutely ballistic. Gold will go so high, most people would not be able to imagine it. It's happened before. We lived through this before, 2.5 years ago, or is it about that much? We lived through it already, recently. And that was nothing. That was a glimpse of what is to come. Bitcoin will also go up. And if at that time, if everything is in place and things are rapidly coming together when it comes to XRP, Solana, the bank coins overall. If everything is in place, that gray hair right there is really sticking out to me. It's like, oh my goodness, it looked like there's something. It's like, anyway, did ever happen to you? That's just my focus is like, I'm talking and then boom. But if the bank coins are in position properly at that time, they will take off as well. They may explode the most because of who's involved in them. Retail are not the ones who are heavily involved with the bank coins. They're not. It's the companies. You see all these companies creeping in. Do you see we covered the large proxy buying that's been going on? Who's doing that? That's not regular people. They're not even in the know like that. That's companies buying by proxy, getting ready. It's the same reason why a lot of them are coming out now saying, oh, we're going to have an XRP treasury, or we're going to utilize the XRPL or hold all of these different things. You know, we covered a lot of articles of companies saying these things. Raising money to buy XRP. We covered an article like that in the last 3 to 4 videos. If they actually honor what they say, of course, there's a reason for it. They know these things stand to go absolutely unbelievably. I'm going to say galactic. That's how I look at it. I'm trying to use original wording. Anyway, they know XRPL is surging as a global fintech powerhouse, Attracting top stablecoins. Okay, we read that part. Ripple shared insights on June 12th regarding the expansion of fiat-backed stablecoins on the XRPL, signaling the protocol's growing relevance in global digital finance. With its compliance-first architecture and native asset XRP, XRPL is attracting stablecoin issuers. I like how they put that because XRP is the lure. XRP is the reason they're coming. Make no mistake about it. They want a piece of it. They want to use it. They want to use the XRPL. And also, I'll say this. All of these stable coins, in my humble opinion, although they have their purpose, one of the aspects that I see to them is that they're a smoke screen for someone just to get involved with XRP. But everyone's looking at RLUSD. They're looking at RLUSD. They're concerned about it. For some reason, they're focused on that while these companies are racking up XRP. Do people not see this happening? The companies know about. You think only a few companies know about XRP? Let's be logical here. I'm a very logical, reasonable thinker. I'm a very good thinker analytically. I've been that way my entire life from school till now. So I trust myself when it comes to breaking something down and analyzing it. If all of these big companies are talking about XRP, you think only a few of them know? No, many of them know. Those are just a few bold enough to speak on it. Everyone else keeping it quiet because they want to ride that price up once the information comes out. Once the truth really comes out. And that hasn't happened as of yet. When the people find out, when other companies find out, because right now, a lot of those companies like small, medium-sized businesses and medium, even going up to between the ones that are between medium and large, they're focused on, a lot of them are focused on Bitcoin. But that time, that shine, everything dims with time, and that will dim. They'll be looking for something else. What's the other things out there that are good? And XRP is going to pop up. You got Bitcoin. Then after Bitcoin, Ethereum probably on their radar, although Ethereum, and I said this before, it seemed like a concerted effort. It has had a lot of bad publicity. A lot of bad publicity. You think that that's by mistake? You tell me. Boom, hit that like button, by the way, if you like this content. We're brainstorming. We're working together. We're actually building ideas on the spot right here, right now. That's special. You're involved in the process. It seemed like a concerted effort. First, they all loved Ethereum for so long. Remember that? For years and years and years, through the bloody bear market and everything. Then all of a sudden, when this current bull run was initiated, suddenly, and it seemed as though once they were absolutely certain the bank coins were going to be loosed, which that's what's happening right now, all of a sudden, all this bad information start coming out about Ethereum and people talking bad about it in ways I never heard that before. I am not an Ethereum enthusiast. I am not a holder of Ethereum, although I have used it before. I am not a holder of Ethereum, but I pay attention to the news that is going on with Ethereum, and I've never seen them drag Ethereum through the mud like they have over the last year or so. Why? So anyway, so although there's Bitcoin, and typically I would put Ethereum right there after it, let's keep that tradition. Right after them is what? Right after them is XRP. It's XRP. And if they jump over Ethereum at some point in the future, and they're just like, oh, Ethereum's not it anymore. It's not the it kid anymore. Then the second place goes to XRP, in my humble opinion, as far as what they're going to be looking at. And right behind XRP, as far as what they're looking at, I'm not talking about the best of the best, even though all these bank coins are the best of the best, in my humble opinion. Right after Bitcoin and XRP, they're looking at Solana. I'm just telling you what I'm seeing, raw, no sugarcoating, nothing. And if you look at the news, if you look at what big companies are doing, I think you will see the same. So, and then right after Solana, I have no idea why this other asset is kept so quiet. It doesn't seem like many are bullish on it, even though it is one of the absolute most bullish cryptos of all time. I'm speaking of none other than Chainlink. I've been talking about Chainlink for so long now, and they just keep racking up partnerships. More power, more connections. I don't know how. Something is, I'm telling you right now, that is strange. Something's going on with that, and it's being held back on purpose. So right after Solana, I would say, as far as what the companies are going to be looking at, as far as popularity, this is what I'm talking about. Okay. Chainlink is right there. I'll leave that at that. Let's squeeze in a little bit of Bitcoin news. All right. So now things are progressing beautifully. This article is titled "Bitcoin-Backed Loans Open the Real Estate Market to Crypto Rich Tax-Free." So let's find out what they're talking about here. It says Bitcoin holders are using crypto-backed loans to buy real estate without selling their Bitcoin, avoiding capital gains taxes while staying exposed to upside. Good strategy. I told you, a lot of people in crypto have been studying, practicing new techniques over the years. They've become very, very wise. Bitcoin holders are using crypto-backed loans to purchase real estate without selling a single Satoshi, allowing them to avoid triggering capital gains taxes. The emerging trend is gaining momentum among early crypto adopters. You think that these large companies are not going to offer certain things like this? That's not going to bring a huge amount of activity to crypto? I would disagree. I think that they're going to go wild with lending. I've been talking about it for a while, have I not? They see this activity. They want a piece of that. They'll find a way to utilize this. The emerging trend is gaining momentum. And I mean, either by offering services, mostly by offering these types of services. The emerging trend is gaining momentum among early crypto adopters, entrepreneurs, and high net worth individuals who are, quote, Bitcoin wealthy, unquote, but often don't meet the traditional criteria for real estate financing. Okay. Mauricio Di Bartolomeo, co-founder of Leadin, told Cointelegraph, Bitcoin-backed lending models allow borrowers to leverage their crypto without divesting, since taking a loan doesn't typically count as a taxable event. Clients can access liquidity while retaining upside exposure. Quote, borrowing using your Bitcoin as collateral doesn't typically trigger capital gains taxes in most jurisdictions because borrowing against an asset is typically not a taxable event. You are not selling your Bitcoin, unquote, Di Bartolomeo said. To secure a Bitcoin loan, clients lock up BTC. I'm going to read this just in case someone doesn't know about this, but I'm assuming anyone who's been in crypto for a long time knows how this stuff works. It was a very popular thing like 3 to 4 years ago. To secure a Bitcoin loan, clients lock up BTC as a typical 50% loan to value ratio and receive fiat or stable coins. The average funding for one lender is 9.6 hours. Di Bartolomeo said, hold on a second. I think there's a typo here. My apologies. I skipped over a word. That's what made it sound crazy. The average funding time. Did I say time? Did I say that? My apologies, everyone, if I did not. The average funding time for one lender is 9.6 hours, Di Bartolomeo said. These funds are then used either as a down payment or to cover the entire cost of a property. The model also offers some flexibility. Interest and fees accrue over the loan term with no mandatory monthly payments. I beg your pardon. Sorry about that. A lot of pollen in the air around here these days. I'm going to tell you that right now. Repayment can occur anytime without penalties. And when I open that door, that stuff come right up in here. I'm telling you right now. Repayment can occur anytime without penalties, and loans can be renewed if the LTV remains under 60%. Borrowers also can retain the right to withdraw excess collateral if Bitcoin appreciates during the loan term, which is very, very nice. All right. So Bitcoin is looking beautiful right now. In my humble opinion, people are beginning to utilize it properly. That's what that says to me. So now that you have that information, what are you going to do with it? I know what I'm going to do with it. So until next time, everybody, let's get to the money.